Every day a kid goes to school, they become less intelligent. That sounds crazy, I know.
If that's the case, all my kids getting homeschooled. Better than getting bullied like I did. It'll make you stronger, but who wants to go through that? Nobody. What's up, guys? The Anti-Hero here, and today we're here to check out another video called How School Makes People Dumber. Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of stuff nowadays, so I'm like, yo, when I was a kid, this stuff was not happening. Like, it's just been getting worse and worse. And the way they teach kids too, like every kid don't got the same brain, but the school teaches them like they all got the same brain. And that's why kids can't learn at the same pace. So I feel like we need to teach them differently. I don't know how, but we need to try that. Like, comment, sub, follow the IG, join the Discord, and let's get right into it. Also, shout out to Dumanity. He is very underrated. And he actually left a comment on one of my previous videos, which I was not expecting. So that is insane.
How did we invent the phone? How did we send a man to the moon? How did we invent the wheel? Was it from memorizing textbooks, or was it from creativity and thinking outside the box? In the 1960s, NASA created a test to measure creative intelligence. They found that 2% of adults qualify as creative geniuses. And for children who've never gone to school, 98% qualify as creative geniuses. Every child is born a genius. But as they grow older, that natural ability fades away. Why is that? Every day a kid goes to school, they become less intelligent. That sounds crazy, I know. But if you take a deep look at how modern education...
If that's the case, all my kids getting homeschooled. Like, y'all are not going to school. You know, it's probably, is it the teachers? Is it the people? Because, hey, I don't know, but if getting homeschooled is the best route to go, I might as well just go ahead and do that. I take my chances of getting them homeschooled. Better than getting bullied like I did. It'll make you stronger, but who wants to go through that? Nobody. Hey, you, like, comment, subscribe, follow the IG, join the Discord. Do it now, please. Love you.
Actually works, you'll see exactly what I mean. Our schools are here to make students work and memorize, but not to think critically and creatively. And that suppression of thinking has a negative impact on our intelligence. Although schools might increase logical and verbal intelligence, other categories of intelligence will decline because of school, particularly creative intelligence, and that's a big problem. Our schools need to be encouraging and nurturing divergent thinking. Remember when you were a child and you could imagine entire fantasy worlds and creatures and characters all in your head? You could breathe life and stories into your tiny plastic toys and play pretend for hours without getting bored. That's not just childish behavior. That's the creative genius within every human being. The ability to rapidly generate original ideas with ease and having an endless imagination. So why does it go away as we get older? Because if we don't practice and use our creativity, that natural ability will fade away. Instead of divergent thinking, our schools exclusively focus on convergent thinking. We're constantly reminded that there's only one answer to a question. There's only one correct way to solve a problem. When schools give us tests, what kind of questions do they give us? It's not imagine this questions. It's not questions that involve deep thinking and brainstorming. No, we're given multiple choice questions. There's only one right answer, and if you choose anything else, you're punished. And when it's not multiple choice questions, it's math and science questions where we're asked to solve a problem. But we can't just solve it any way we want, no. If the method we use is not the method that our teachers taught us, then we get a bad score, even if our final answer is correct. I'm not sure what it's like in other countries, but in the US, every student has to suffer through Common Core math. In math class, we're forced to use confusing methods that involve multiple steps to solve simple math problems. For example, if a child...
My bad, I'm just thinking like, yo, like there actually is multiple ways to solve a problem. Like some people solve like a division problem a certain way, they may solve it another way, they may use like a formula. I'm like, yo, there is multiple ways to do stuff, but they only make it seem like there's only one because school treats everybody like they got the same thinking process when everybody has a different thought process. Like I'm more of a visual learner. I learn when I see things more. Like be creative. My bad, I don't know, I'm a little frustrated. I'm not.
Is asked, what is 6 minus 9? The child can't simply write -3.
Right.
They have to draw this entire diagram as their answer. And if they try to solve it in any other way, they get a bad score.
That makes sense.
Now imagine how this affects a child's creativity, when they're constantly reminded that the only way to do things is the way taught by their teacher. Anything else is incorrect. If we condition a child like this for years and years, they'll stop trying to solve things using their own ideas. They'll stop thinking for themselves. If a child can discover their own unique method to solving a math or science problem, that is amazing. It's an incredible feat of creativity and brilliance that should be praised and rewarded. But instead, our school system punishes it. We give this child a bad score because they didn't conform to the curriculum. We punish genius, and we reward conformity. Even when we're writing essays, the creativity is stripped away. Essays are a form of expression. Writing essays is an art. But in school, we're told that there's only one correct way to write an essay, and that's by following the rubric. Did you include a thesis? Did you include a conclusion? Did you organize your essay? It doesn't matter how good your essay is. If you didn't follow the rubric, then you get a bad score. If you ask an 8-year-old to write an essay, they'll write a whimsical, unique commentary that will make any topic feel silly and colorful. Ask a college student to write an essay, and it's gonna feel like it was generated by ChatGPT. Because their creativity has been completely drained from their soul after years of school. Schools need to teach students that there will always be multiple ways to go about a problem, because that's how the real world works. There's never just one correct answer. Because our schools constantly drill into our heads that there's only one correct way to do things, we often forget that there's a lot of good ways to make a living. Students are conditioned to never think outside the box, so they believe the only way to make money is by climbing the corporate ladder. But in reality, there's a lot of ways to make money. Freelance work, blue-collar work, social media, the gig industry, starting a business. Because so many students lack the ability to think for themselves, they're unaware of this bigger world of opportunities. Another way
That's kind of true though. Like you would grow up and you're like, oh, I want to be a YouTuber when I grow up. I want to be, I don't know, a social media influencer. And do have your parents be like, why you want to do all that? Why don't you get a real job? Any job can be a real job as long as you get paid for it and you're creative. Like anything can be a job. Hell, people be doing stuff behind alleyways and getting paid for that. That's a job too. It may not be a right job, but it is a job.
What decreases our intelligence is by forcing us to spend the vast majority of our time memorizing pointless information. Dates, terms, equations, names, geography, and so on. This is a problem in
I love the Undertale music, by the way.
Pretty much every country's education system, and it needs to stop. First of all, we're going to forget almost all the information we memorized after we graduate. And even if we do remember the information, most of it is pointless and won't be useful to us. Should we teach kids about taxes, how to invest, and how to apply for a job? No, how could they possibly need that information? No, let's teach them that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. Second, we live in an age where everyone has the internet and AI is on the rise. We don't need to memorize every single detail because we can just search it up or ask AI. We spend almost all our time memorizing pointless information and very minimal time actually digesting this information and thinking about the why and how of what we learned. And that lack of thinking damages both our education and our intellect. I don't remember a single thing from my high school economics class. That class didn't add anything to my life. This 80-minute video essay about Garfield left a significant impact on me and added a lot to my life. Why? Because the Garfield video provoked thought and emotion out of me. My economics class didn't. So if we want our students to actually remember and care about what they're learning, we need them to do less memorizing and more thinking. Albert Einstein.
I feel like what they do in school is that they teach kids what they want them to know and not what the kids want to know. That's what I think it is. And if it was up to me, I would give them all a class to teach them how to manage their emotions, teach them how to deal with stressful situations or how to deal with bullies. Like, hey, I know it's a school and we don't promote fighting, but sometimes you gotta fight. You gotta protect yourself.
He said this: everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid.
Huh?
Albert Einstein also said this: everybody is a genius. After subscribing to Doomanity.
Oh my
gosh. Our school system is forcing fish to climb trees. The truth is, our societies don't need highly educated individuals. Our societies need creative and intelligent individuals. With the current rise of AI, our academic and memorization abilities will be useless, as AI will outperform us in those areas. But you know what AI doesn't have? Creativity. Let's say one wants to go into marketing. They don't need to know anything about calculus or physics to be—
I mean, that kind of do got creativity, that's Sora. But you know, besides that, I mean, is it really creativity? Not really. I still love people who draw real art. That stuff is always a good thing. I'll be seeing on Instagram, even on the threads. I'm like, yo, this person drew this real art and it's not AI. I always love that. Like, my best friend can draw his ass off. I always love his art more than AI art.
Good at that job. They don't need to know that the mitochondria is
the powerhouse of the cell.
What do they need? Creative intelligence. They need to be able to brainstorm quickly and find new and innovative approaches to selling a product. A creative genius with minimal education will perform far better at this job than a highly educated individual with minimal creativity. But if a person wants to go into the marketing industry, they'll need to spend years rigorously studying arbitrary academics in school. And by the time they finish all of that, their creative intelligence will have significantly decreased. It's a completely counterproductive system. And even with jobs like doctors, engineers, and lawyers, I think we all can agree that these jobs need higher education. But even so, on the path that one takes to pursue these jobs, they have to put up with a lot of BS that's irrelevant to their career. A person studying to become a surgeon shouldn't be forced to study economics, world history, calculus, or computer science. A very common criticism of the school system I hear is that our school system is only designed to create workers who follow the rules and obey the authorities. This might surprise you, but honestly, I'm okay with that. That's a very valid reason for our school system to exist. We need workers. Without workers, our societies would collapse. But even so, our school system is failing at creating workers. Like I said, most workers don't need to be highly educated. We need workers who are creative and intelligent in their own field. This applies to all areas of the workforce. Even blue-collar workers benefit from creative intelligence. When you're building a house, or fixing a pipe, or repairing electrical systems, there's bound to be moments when you have to use your own unorthodox methods to get the job done. In other words, creativity. School makes students less intelligent. It takes the creative, brilliant minds of young children and transforms them into logical, conforming thinkers who can't come up with original ideas. So how do we fix this system? Well, it's really not that hard. Like I said earlier, schools and teachers need to show students how there's multiple correct ways to do things. We need to give less multiple choice questions and more open-ended questions. Questions that actually require the students to think and brainstorm, rather than just recite what they memorized. We need students to think more and memorize less. Ask them thought-provoking questions. Ask them to interpret the information for themselves, and test them using these questions instead of multiple choice questions. And lastly, students should be doing more creative projects instead of constantly memorizing information. Ask them to create stories, music, paintings, business ideas, creative designs, and so on. Some might say that's a waste of time, but I'd argue that these activities are significantly more meaningful and helpful to a student's career than just memorizing information that they'll forget as soon as they graduate. Of course, students still need to learn how to read and write and do math. Those are essential life skills. But anything that isn't essential for a student to learn should only be an optional elective class. Our school system is terrible, but there's actually a system that's much worse. It's a system that's destroying the USA as we speak. America's prison system. Click right here to watch my video about America's prison system.
I feel like we should make Dumanity a teacher. We gotta have him own a school. I feel like he's going in the right direction. He knows exactly what to do. I'm telling you, he got it. But yeah, W video, and I feel like it's just because like the school be teaching you how to think, but they don't let you think the way you want to think. Like, I love people's weird brains. I love to see them come up with stuff that I'm like, you know what? How did you even do that? I don't even know how you came up with that, but your brain is so weird, and I love it. Like, I be loving the weird thought process that people be having on how they came up with this or how they made that or invented that. I be loving the creative side of people. But that's it for this video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Also join the Discord and follow the IG link in the description if you haven't. Again, W video from Dumanity. Keep it chill. I love y'all. Until next time, peace out.